Good afternoon, and welcome to another live show on the Authentic Married Woman. I am your host, Karen Seitz, and I am a coach and mentor for married women to teach them how to find their happiness within as a way to save their marriage and have the relationship that they always wanted. And today I am joined by Peggy Litt, one of the co-founders of A New Life Center. And Peggy, it's been a minute since we've done a video. It's really nice to have you on today.
It's very nice to be here, Karen. Excuse me. It's been a while.
It has.
We always have our talks in the office anyway, but it's wonderful to be able to share this with the women in the group also.
It is. Do you want to take a minute and just introduce yourself, Peggy, for our new members?
Sure. I am one of the co founders of A New Life Center, and excuse me. I have been working with both men and women for the last 12 to 15 years on how to have a relationship with themselves and with their partners. Um, David and I met probably about 16 years ago, and so we have been doing this work ever since. Excuse me. We just got done eating lunch. So um, we were talking, Karen, about how so much of the Facebook group is about how we make our husbands our partners feel, especially when our walls are up. And I thought it was important to let the women see what they're missing in how they're experiencing themselves with their walls up. So that's what this little video is going to be on.
Great. Thank you, Peggy. And yes, so our the title of our video today is Why Taking Your Walls Down is for Yourself. It's a gift for you. And before we get into that, I just want to give a quick reminder, as always, of the three principles that set the framework for our Facebook group and also sets the framework for the work that we do with our clients here at A New Life Center. And the first principle is that you are responsible for your happiness, that happiness is an inside job. There's nothing anyone or anything else can do to make you happy. And when we have our walls up, we can't find our happiness internally, and we're going to talk more about that today. And our second guiding principle is that the only person that you have any control over to change is yourself. Your husband can't change you. You can't change your husband or anyone else. That if you want to experience change, then that's down to you and in changing yourself. And our third guiding principle is that what it means to be an authentic married woman, or what it means to be an authentic woman, period, is having a relationship with yourself, knowing who you are, knowing what you like and don't like, being engaged with yourself, and feeling good about who you are. And so, all of those principles, Peggy, are really hard to apply and to access in ourselves when we have our walls up.
Impossible.
Yeah. Why would you explain a little bit more about why it's impossible to be happy or to make choices for ourselves or have a relationship with ourselves when we have our walls up?
Excuse me. When I have my walls up, I'm not connected to myself to even be able to give myself something that would make me happy, and I'm certainly not connected to my partner. Um, when I have my walls up, I'm usually, I become a victim, so my awareness goes out the door, and I can't have a clear picture of what is really happening with me. Um, with my walls up, I'm basically just trying to survive a situation rather than really be engaged in it. When I have my walls up, my life feels really flat,
Yeah.
and um, I'm I feel pretty dead inside. I have no color in my life. You know, my life isn't vibrant and full. It's just flat and coasting and hiding.
Yeah, a lot of going through the motions.
Yeah, you know, it's how can I act rather than just being me.
Mm.
You know, I tend to try and act how I think the situation would call for me to act, but there's no sincerity underneath it. And there's nothing for my partner to respond even to because I'm not there.
Yeah. And what would you say, Peggy, and I can go into this a little bit too, but I think as women, we all know the women that I work with and that I have conversations about walls and what that experience is. At some level, we all know that we have walls or that we have walls up. But Peggy, would you be open to explaining a little bit about what that means to you when you have your walls up?
Well, before when I had my walls up, I had a happy pill in place.
Yeah.
So no one really ever said, wow, you have your walls up.
Mm.
But that happy pill, uh, I could never genuinely support the person I was trying to support. I just wanted them to be happy with me so I could feel good about myself. You know, it's very different having your walls up with a happy pill versus having just having your walls up and not having that happy pill.
Yeah. And it, or go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to explain for some of our new members that maybe not haven't watched some of our videos in the past what we mean when we say the happy pill. So we're not talking about an actual pill, that it's a way of idealizing life. So I'm a happy pill person when I don't want to feel. It's just look for the silver linings, look for the bright side, just put a smile on your face, just pretend to be happy, fake it till you make it. And what ends up happening, we don't realize it because we fool ourselves. We have a facade with the happy pill, and we fool ourselves and the people in our lives that everything's great and that we're happy. But underneath that happy pill is all of our hurt and blame and negative feelings or difficult feelings that we don't want to experience because it would burst our happy pill and cause us to have to face our life and to face ourselves. And what we don't realize is what's going on underneath just pretending to be positive and pretending that everything is great is that hurt and that blame that becomes our walls and our protection in life.
Well, and that hurt and blame and those stuffed feelings is what then makes can cause us to get sick too.
Mm.
You know, that's one thing we haven't really touched on. When our walls are up, we can't process our feelings at all. So they stay in us. And gradually we will get sick, or that's why some people age faster than other people. And with our walls down, our heart just helps us process all of those feelings. And it might be a little uncomfortable for a few seconds, but then that charge is gone and you're back to being clean inside again.
And you can, from that place, like I said, I was a happy pill person, so I was the queen of stuffing all of my feelings and not wanting to face anything negative in myself. And now being open to experiencing myself so fully, not just trying to feel the good stuff, but feeling all of it. Um, we think, well, that would be horrible, or why would we want to do that? But that actually allows us to really experience who we are fully in ourselves and then in life. So I think Peggy told me once, and I know I've heard this in other places too, we can't stuff the bad stuff or the icky stuff or negative stuff or feelings without also stuffing the positive and joyful experiences that we can have. If we're stuffing, which is our walls allow us to stuff everything that we're feeling and going on inside of ourselves, then we're not feeling anything, and it's a facade.
Yeah, we kind of live in that gray area. You know, I used to think, how come I can't have those belly laughs like I used to
Mm.
have? And there was a part of me that knew I couldn't because I wasn't really letting myself feel the sad stuff too, but I didn't realize how gray my life was
Mm.
until I learned to take my walls down. And you miss so much with your children and your partners and your siblings and your parents. It affects every relationship that you have.
It does. And it can also be when we're constantly avoiding what we're feeling and we have our walls up. A lot of times the women that I work with, one of their biggest complaints or challenges that they struggle with, and I certainly have struggled with this too, is feeling like they're constantly on an emotional roller coaster and feeling like life is chaotic and it's just one thing after another and feeling emotionally unstable. When we learn to take our walls down and we learn to feel and go into those experiences, it allows us to have an emotional maturity and an emotional stability so that we can continue to move through life and make better choices that support us and not create a bunch of little fires everywhere that eventually blend together and create one big giant fire that we feel, like Peggy said, a victim to, and it feels insurmountable, like we can't overcome it.
Well, and that's really why we do that, why we speed up and think life is that so we don't feel. But it's kind of a self fulfilling prophecy. It just gets worse and worse, instead of just feeling through something with your heart open and moving on, you know.
Yeah, being able to let go and not hold on to things. It's the things we hold on to and don't want to let go of, whether in our marriage or relationships with family. We hold on to those things and don't want to let go, and that's what actually becomes our walls. That we shut ourselves out and we shut the people that we care about and love out of our lives too.
Well, and with our walls down, ladies, this is some of the ways you can experience yourself. You'll experience yourself as respectful. Do you ever think of that? With your walls up, you're always protective, so you're really not very respectful. You can, uh, I can experience myself as supportive, as loving, as adventurous, as curious. Those little curiosities you had as a child with you can't be that with your walls up. You're hard and you're playing it as safe as you can with your walls up. Um, with your walls down, your awareness is so much greater, so you can actually see the good things about your partner.
And
And
yourself.
yes, yes, and yourself. Yes. Um, you can't be happy with your walls up, which is what you said. That's one of our three principles. You can't be natural,
Mm.
who you really are. That feels so good. And I, I look forward to the day you ladies can really feel yourself as who you are, because you won't want to be anybody else. And most of us spend our lives wishing we had someone else's life. And that isn't what we're here for. We're here to experience ourselves the fullest we can and those people that we care about.
And Peggy, I know you like to talk about this and do so well. What is our natural state as women when we take our walls down?
It is natural for us to be caring and nurturing. We got those labels from society, but we haven't been doing a very good job at being that. We try and act like that, but I see children all the time that are missing that spark
Mm.
that they have when they actually have an authentic connection with their mothers. And, how we are with ourselves affects everybody we interact with, and to not give our child that opportunity to know themselves so full of life. That's really sad. And then our children become needier too. They almost cling to us more because they know they should be able to get that from us,
Mm,
you
good
know,
point.
and we're not giving it to them. So I know a lot of ladies in the Facebook group have children. So please consider them too. I know this right today is about how we experience ourselves, but you're also cheating yourself out of the wonderful joyness of being a parent when your walls are up. It's a completely different experience.
It really is. And in that caring and nurturing nature, we can also find our softness. And in being soft, and Peggy defines soft as strength without fear, that we can step into life, step into the challenges, step into all the good things and the hard times too, clear and without those hard edges, just confident and strong within ourselves, without all the fear that comes when we have our walls up. We're
Well,
willing to face it.
right. I mean, we put our walls up because we are afraid, but
Mhm.
yet we can't have our strength with our walls up because our strength comes from us being soft and not having the fear. So our mind has kind of played a bad joke on us, but we've been willing participants too. So this is just something we really need to change. I mean, how wonderful it would be. I know I took my two daughters on vacations and we would go to very fun places, but I would like to sit in a chair at the pool and read instead of playing in the water with them. Little things like that add so much to life.
And you can also, with your walls down, because with your walls up, you're in fear. And so like Peggy said, you're trying to play it as safe as possible and keep everything in a nice little tight box. When you drop your walls, then you look for new opportunities. You are able to see new opportunities and able to see new possibilities that allow you to get to know who you are, to believe in yourself, to know that you can take care of yourself in a healthy way that makes you feel really good about who you are. And that's how we find our happiness inside. That's how we give ourselves the power of choice, because we don't see life as happening to us and being powerless to what's around us and just constantly hiding or keeping everything just so nothing has to be disturbed. We can actually then start to make choices and see life as an opportunity. And those are our three principles. And I can't have that. I can't take risk, and I can't find out who I am and the depth and richness of who I am and what my life has to offer unless I take my walls down. And in short, it's almost like I can't get me.
Well, and there's no better rush than the rush of self. The
Um,
rush of me coming out and feeling that aliveness, you know? And again, if our walls are up and we're protecting ourselves, we're raising kids that are doing the same thing.
yeah.
And they're going to hide in their computers and on their phones rather than interact with people, you know? So it's a domino effect. And with our walls up, we're so shallow. We can't truly, truly care. We can't truly, truly hold space for someone else in caring.
Mm.
It, yeah.
It ties a lot into Peggy. We've been talking a lot, David and I, in our videos about vulnerability, and we've been sharing some things from Brene Brown, who is an expert and researcher in vulnerability and also in shame. And we posted a clip of hers about about empathy and vulnerability. And with essentially our walls down, that's us being vulnerable. And she talks about how we associate vulnerability with negative, dark emotions. The vulnerability means loss, it means the unknown, it means being taken advantage of, it means being hurt. But she also says so beautifully that's vulnerability, having our walls down, is also the birthplace of all the positive emotions and positive experiences. And without vulnerability, I can't have empathy for another. I can't understand what's really going on for my child. I can't really understand what's going on for my husband. And again, since we're talking about why it's a gift for you to take your walls down, you can't have empathy and understanding for yourself with your walls up. You just beat yourself up and make yourself wrong and are self-critical. So vulnerability is a good thing. That's where we can actually really experience empathy and the positive experiences and feelings there are in life.
Well, and with our walls down, Karen, there's no expectations. There's only acceptance
Yeah.
and maybe some excitement, but there's no expectations. And, with the Valentine's Day and all of that, all of our disappointments is because of our expectations.
Mm.
So, David and I don't celebrate Valentine's Day, but he spoils me every day. I don't need a special day to know he cares for me, and I hope he doesn't either, you know. So then if you want to go out and eat or something, that's all fine,
But
and
there's
you
no
can enjoy it.
expectation.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's no disappointment if the day gets away from you. Maybe you'll go out over the weekend, or we go out when we want to go out, not when we feel we have to go out.
that's a good point, Peggy. So in kind of wrapping up and giving a summary, what would you like to leave our viewers with of why we wanted to talk about why taking your walls down is a gift for yourself and just a kind of a little summary of what we were talking about.
Give yourself the gift of life. Give yourself the gift of feeling alive. Give yourself the feeling of loving someone and yourself. You you can give this to yourself, and then you will be happy in your life,
Mm.
and you'll have more to give the people in your life.
Thank you, Peggy. So if you're listening to this and you know that you're having a limited experience of yourself, your life, your marriage because of your walls, and you maybe feel like you're just going through the motions, or I know I need to feel, but I don't know how to get there, and I know it's affecting my life, and you've tried everything. You've tried the books, you've tried talk therapy, you've tried other self-help, and it's not working, then let's have a conversation and we can help you get really clear on what the real issues are and get out of your stories and help you see a step-by-step plan or a step-by-step roadmap on how to take your walls down, how to find your happiness within, to give yourself, I love what you said, Peggy, to give yourself the gift of life and feeling alive and loving yourself and truly loving another. If you're ready for that, then private message me and we will set up a free 1 hour breakthrough session and help you get really clear. And if it's a good fit and you want to know how we can help you, then we can talk about that too. And if not, that's all right. This will be one of the most valuable calls you will ever have, and you will have more clarity and more awareness than you've maybe ever gotten by having this conversation. So thank you so much, Peggy. Thank you for being here and sharing so openly and heartfelt with
And,
me and the viewers.
and ladies, please know it is very normal, and you're
Mm,
not bad,
yeah.
okay? And all the fear you're feeling when you actually let go and let your walls down, the fear dissipates. It's gone. It's really an illusion. So please give Karen a call. She can help you through this. And I'll come and talk to everyone again soon.
Yeah, I look forward to it, Peggy. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen.
Mhm.